Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we have a very, very big and significant Doublelift update to talk about. This is not just the usual big Doublelift update clickbait thing. This is some actual Doublelift news. This is something he actually said, some real statements that could actually have some meaning to Doublelift's future in the competitive League of Legends scene. So this is something that I'm very, very excited to talk about. And whether you love or hate Doublelift, even the biggest Doublelift fan, I think, has to kind of agree with the fact that he's been a little bit of a flip-flopper over the course of his career. When he was playing competitive League of Legends, even for TSM, he's going back and forth between, spring split doesn't matter, I want to go stream, I don't want to play competitive right now, okay, now I want to come back, and then when he's streaming, he's like, I love streaming, and I'm never going to come back, and then, he wants to come back, and he's just back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and if you look back through my channel, in just the 2 years that I've even been covering competitive League of Legends on here, I have so many videos of hey, Doublelift says he's never going to return, and then, Doublelift wants to return, and I swear I have 4 or 5 videos just about that specifically. So you never know what's going to happen next. Whatever Doublelift has to say, I would take it with a grain of salt. But he does have some new statements coming out. He is kind of telling us the latest of his situation, of his potential return to competitive League of Legends. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that so much. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Help us run those numbers up a little bit. 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. Those are our goals. With that being said, let's get right into this. So, like I said, Doublelift, he has this history of flip-flopping back and forth. Nobody's surprised about that. Again, while he was streaming most recently, he said he loves streaming. He says he's going to be doing this for the foreseeable future. But then this offseason, we know he tried to get back on TSM and was rejected by Reggie, and that's what kind of caused this whole Doublelift and Reggie drama in the first place and got Doublelift kicked off TSM, and maybe had something to do with Lena leaving the organization or whatever. We also know Doublelift tried to return with Evil Geniuses. There was talks that Evil Geniuses could potentially trade away Danny or sell off Danny and bring in Doublelift and Jensen and keep JoJo in Academy. That seems like those were very, very real talks. I wonder if teams like Cloud9 maybe had any conversations with Doublelift or not, but I think we know with very, very strong likelihood that he at least talked to TSM and Evil Geniuses this past offseason. So, again, this is just as recently as, December or January. He was considering a return to professional play. But now, here is the latest with him from his newest episode of Trash Talk, one of the biggest up-and-coming shows in the League of Legends world. People are really, really loving the show. And I haven't watched this whole episode yet, but I've probably watched 50% of it, and it's been pretty good so far. I'm not, the biggest LS fan in the world. Obviously, me and him have butted heads a little bit in the past. And Joe Marsh, it seems like everybody loves him. And Joe Marsh, LS, and Doublelift just really work together on the show, and it's actually a really, really good episode. You can see I dropped a like on it. But what we have here is a part titled Joe Asked Doublelift About Re-Signing to TSM, and then, we get into Doublelift, his statements about potentially returning to pro play. So let's see what Doublelift has to say, and then let's talk about it a little bit.
You always have a sense of whether or not someone actually likes you. And
I talking about Reggie.
Got that sense from Andy. I felt like every single fucking interaction was kind of tense, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. And I know that in his mind, he really strongly dislikes me. The funny shit is I never actually get. I'm kind of saying I never actually get kicked. Or sorry, I never leave an org. I always stay loyal to an org, even if I know that the owner is kind of shady or shitty. I will stay loyal, and I've never left a team. I've only ever gotten pushed out the door. So even though I don't really feel good about working for this person, I would have continued to happily work for TSM. But it just all went to shit so fast.
So that's kind of interesting and kind of a funny point that originally he was removed from CLG, and that's how he ended up at TSM. And then from TSM, they kicked him to. He did take the split off where Wild Turtle came in, and then Doublelift ended up coming back. But then TSM kicked him to bring in Sven and Mithy. He goes to TL, and then he stays on TL for a while, and then eventually TL kicks him to start Tactical, and that's when he goes back to TSM. But then, he did kind of retire or whatever from TSM this most recent time. So I don't know if he's always been kicked or pushed out the door or whatever. I know he was saying, I'm going to retire, I'm not. And then he wanted to come back, and Reggie didn't let him come back. But, it's not like it was not his fault at all. But yeah, for the best North American player of all time to be kicked from so many different teams, kind of interesting.
Dude, honestly,
The best is that you just said you don't know why he didn't like you. I have like one gigantic reason why he did not like you.
Yeah, of course. Also, it doesn't help that like I feel like you guys come from the corporate world more than me, or especially you. You come from the corporate world way more than me, and it's like I feel like in the corporate world, there's a certain like level of respect that you're expected to have from your employees, and it's like you can kind of like talk down as a C-level executive. You can just kind of direct people what to do. You can be really toxic to them. You can flame them if you like so want to.
Hey, Reggie does plenty of that.
Where I'm just gonna speak my mind. I'm like, no, that idea is stupid. I'm gonna tell you like why I think it's bad, or you know, if like we disagree on something, we're going to discuss it. You know, I'm not gonna be toxic, but we're definitely going to like, you know, have some back and forth about what the conversation is. And like I think, you know, some people they just don't like that. You know, they would rather have drones. They would rather have people who just kind of take
100%, especially in esports.
Have, like, a strong personality. There's always going to be like friction as well. But I think what you're talking about, yeah, that was a big part of it. I totally agree. Lena was for sure telling me like, oh no, he's totally over it. Like that was like years ago, and I'm like,
so funny.
I feel it. Like I feel the hatred and I can't shake this feeling. Like it's too fucking awkward.
I hope there's a day where, and maybe it's at Worlds, where I can get you in a room with Gumayushi, because he's the most confident human I've ever met in my entire life, and
nice.
I think you guys would get along swimmingly, because he speaks his mind, and I think it's hilarious. And even like the trash talks event for LCK finals was great. Where he told Ruler he's always going to be second. You guys would have a lot in common. A lot of good chats.
And just from these short little clips and you know the Twitter interactions and the videos you see of everything with Joe Marsh, like damn, does it seem way cooler and way better and way more of a better overall environment to work under Joe Marsh than to work under Reggie. And like I think so many people in the esports world would agree with that. Like I don't think that's like a hot take or anything. You know, Joe just seems like such a cool, down-to-earth, understanding guy. But obviously, you know, he must be like a ruthless businessman as well to get to the places he is and to have the success he's had and everything. But to also just be able to work with your people so well. To be a great leader, you have to inspire people and want them to be great and want them to be good and you know, have them look up to you and have them respect you. You earn their respect. You don't, you know, demand their respect, I guess, for lack of a better word. And it's just kind of interesting. But here we get into Doublelift talking about where he lies at right now in terms of returning to pro play.
Dude, honestly, one of the reasons why I'm like, I've thought about coming back, right? Like, I've thought about coming back over and over and over again. I've probably thought about that question like 1,000 times since I became a content creator, and like the reason why I am like more settled and like, yeah, I'd say like 99% chance that I never come back, and like I'm so happy to be a content creator now is because when I watch players like Guma, I just think, fuck, dude, I don't know if I can beat this guy. Like I just don't know if it's possible. And I feel like AD around the world, they watch Guma play, and they just think like, fuck, I don't know if I can beat this. I think they watch T1 and like, I don't know if I can beat this team, and that's never happened to me. I played competitively for 10 years. That has never happened to me before. Like I even when I watched Uzi play in his prime, I was like, I think I can beat this guy. Like I think it's possible. But Guma, I don't think that guy's human.
No, I mean, apparently he's adverse to COVID. He didn't even get COVID.
So I thought that was kind of big and kind of interesting. Obviously, Doublelift saying pretty much that there is a 99% chance that he will not be coming back to pro play. Now, obviously, I have some opinions about that. He's saying, you know, it's because Gumayusi is so good, and he feels like he could never be to that level. And you know, he's saying Guma's not human and all that. And Gumayusi is a beast. Like, this dude is an absolute monster. He is cracked. But I think it's more that Doublelift has lost that competitive drive and that competitive fire. Because like he even says, you know, Prime Uzi, I saw him and was like, oh, I can beat him. But like, could he really? Was he really on that level? No. I mean, he wasn't. You know, especially internationally, he never showed that he was on that level. And it's not the fact that Gumayusi is like clearly better than Prime Uzi, especially for his time. It's just that Doublelift's maybe fire has changed a little bit. And the fire was always an issue with him. You know, if you are a competitor, you see somebody that's cracked and insane, and that makes you want to play more. That makes you fired up more. That makes you say, wow, that's possible? I can do that? Hey, I think I'm one of the best in the world. If he's showing that can be done, I'm going to go prove that I can do that. He's not wanting to come back because there's somebody really good out there? Like, you would want to come back if there wasn't any good people out there to prove that you're better than shitty people? Like, that doesn't make sense. It's not a competitor's mentality to me. Like, I can't imagine, like, Ronaldo or LeBron James or Michael Jordan being like, oh, there's some guy that's better than me, so that's why I think I'm going to retire. You know, like, obviously, maybe once you get to the end of your career, that stuff happens, but what's Doublelift? 28, 29 years old? Maybe he thinks he's past his prime. Maybe he thinks he's washed up, but, like, I don't know. You know, if you think you still got it and you still think, you know, you're in like the prime ages of your life and of your career and stuff, then I don't know. I think somebody being great out there would inspire you to come back. But again, we've seen motivation issues with DL for years and years and years now. One to come back, one to not come back. Part of the issue right now is that, like, hey, what team would even want him? What team would pay the salary that he's asking? What team would give him a roster that he wants? You know, he tried to come back in the spring, and there wasn't anywhere for him to go. There wasn't those options. So now there's going to be options in summer? No, you know, he's probably looking at 2023 at the earliest. So, you know, he can say that he doesn't want to come back, but hey, he said there's a 99% chance he's not coming back before, and then he's still tried to come back. And half the conversation is, hey, Doublelift, do you want to come back? But the other half is, hey, do any teams want him with that roster that he's asking for the price he's asking for? And I don't know. But again, the latest is that Doublelift says there's a 99% chance that he will not be returning to pro play. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt, but that is the word straight from his mouth. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Do you think Doublelift should return to pro play? Do you think he could return to pro play? Or do you think he should stay retired? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hope we catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.